Hi, this is Rock. Okay, I've been procrastinating this long enough. It's time to talk about tables. And I'll try to avoid being too negative about tables because that's my tendency. I don't care for tables natively, but there are some reasons why tables are very important and useful. And certainly it's important to know about them. And if you want to use them in the circumstances that it makes sense to, feel free. Go at it. I'm just not a huge fan. The crux of it is that tables essentially take over some of your ownership and running of your data. They'll sometimes do things that you don't necessarily otherwise expect them to do. So it takes some getting used to, and essentially I feel like I've been burned by tables. So I try to avoid them. They combine some of the benefits of array formulas with some visual things that are actually really nice and also make some of your references more reliable in terms of needing to indicate whether something is an absolute reference versus relative reference. Tables take that pretty naturally and help you work with that. Let's go get some data and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So here we are at data.gov, which is a great place to go grab some data to do some analysis on, but also to do some training on. Electric vehicle population data. Let's take CSV. So I'm going to come over here and import some data from CSV. And we've got electric vehicle population data. This is from the state of Washington. Let's go ahead and load it. There are a couple of things that tell you that this data is in a data table, an Excel table. One of the telltale signs is this particular layout where you've got a color across the top and then you've got varying lines between a lighter color and white. That tells you this is probably a table. Let me go ahead and freeze my panes there so that as I scroll down, I can still see the column header. As I look to the end here, it looks like we have 270K rows. So that's probably the number of electric vehicles registered in the state of Washington. One of the great things about this kind of table is that you've got the auto filter already set. So I can filter by city. Let's go ahead and enter Olympia. And you can see there are 6,300 that are in Olympia. And if I filter for Toyotas and the models here, you have Prii and RAV4 and the BZ4X. The automatic filtering is great for this. If you want to start doing some analysis on this, for example, to see the age of the vehicle, right now you could calculate that based on model year and the year to date. So I can take this and say vehicle age. One thing that's going to happen when you add a column in a table is it automatically formats it and includes it in the table. And if I create a calculation of saying, let's say this is 2027 minus this model year age, see how when I clicked on this, it put it into these brackets and said at model year. This kind of thing is the nomenclature, the syntax for doing references within tables. And watch what happens when I hit enter. It basically calculated that then for everything in the table, for every vehicle. It has added this as a new column in the table. All right, what's wrong with that? It's okay. It's great. It's just that it's great. It's fine. Thank you, Excel, for doing that for us. All right, now we can look at the oldest vehicles here, which are 15 years old, which are not eligible for the clean alternative fuel vehicle discount or tax rebate, whatever it is, due to low battery range. All right, Another great thing about a table, let me clear all the filters. If I go to the very end and I decide I'm going to put in another row, let me just put in something that looks like one of these. It automatically added a new row to this table. And if I pretend this is also Thurston and I paste this down, now I've got a new row to my table. If you want to do an external reference to this table, let's say we want some sort of summary. Let's say we're going to have make here and count of the makes. What we can do here is say equals unique. Let's sort it. I'll say sort unique. Then I'm going to go grab the model. Well, no, let's grab the make. Here we go. And to grab this make, as I select it there, see how instead of having it be a reference to the electric vehicle population data exclamation point because it's a different tab, this is the nomenclature for referring to a table that is defined in your Excel spreadsheet. You've got the table name and then these square brackets around the column name. If I close that, hit enter, this gives me a list of the different makes. And if I want to do a count if, I'm just going to go ahead and copy this. So I can say equals count if this range equals this. So notice that the name of this tab, I didn't need to have the exclamation point and then the specific range. Because it's a table, it's part of a defined table in your spreadsheet, you can just refer to it by its table name and the column, and there you go. If I were to select this, then it gives me all those. So if I took this, actually let me do my usual, I'm going to insert some rows here. I'm going to make this our filter. So the main point I wanted to make about tables is the formatting and the fact that when you refer to them, you can refer to them as their table name and the column name in square brackets. So if I went to Name Manager, you'd see that I have this table. Name Manager manages the tables. This is where you can change the definition of them. You can change the name of them. If I edited this, change the title of it to be shorter, I could say EV data, say OK. Now when I come back to this reference, it has made this shorter. Tables have a lot of benefits, including the simplification of the references within them, including the benefit of being able to do a quick calculation in one cell and then it flows to the others in a way that mimics the benefits of array formulas. And then if I'm going to refer to vehicle age, I can just do that over here by saying average vehicle age. And with this, I can do a quick average if and have EV data and then in square brackets, EV data. And the first thing that I'm going to need to put in is the range, which will be not the average range, which is my vehicle age, but the range of this make, which is driving the criteria here. So I'm going to say make, and then the criteria will be this array, and then the average range will be EV data and in brackets vehicle age. Close that. Hit enter. We've got the average age here. And all I'd need to do is just format that to have the right number of decimal points. I don't know, it's starting to grow on me. Maybe tables are really that easy. I'm going to do a Azure Dynamics. Is that really a vehicle? There's 4 of them. It sounds more like a Microsoft product. The Fiats tend to be older. WeGo, electric cars, those are old. We've got some that are 2 years old, Maserati. There's only one of those. Maybe somebody converted one. All right, so that is tables. Next, we're going to look at using website data. See you then.